Last time on Missing Stars, our hero Erik Wilhelm helped a mopey Natalia with her homework, was barreled into by Jean in PE class, a student who is very down with the thickness, if you know what I mean. Jean has Tourette syndrome and is a very nice lady, and I will totally mispronounce her name about 50 fucking times in following videos because I didn't know anything at the time. Sorry, I'm not French. Anyway, Erik has taken Jean to the nurse's office, and that is where our story picks up, ladies and gentlemen. Strap yourselves in, because it's fairly tame. Yeah. Looking around, the office actually extends a little bit past the lobby we're currently in. Several doors lead into what I assume to be beds or private offices. The nurse on staff greets us, then notices Jean on my shoulder. She rolled her ankle a bit in gym class, and she had a slight nosebleed. Goodness, are you okay, young lady? Well, my nose has stopped bleeding, but my ankle still hurts. Stop. Alright, let's head back to my office and I'll take a look. Seems like every single, one of the ladies' voices that I'm doing is like the same. Need me to help take her back, miss? That would be very helpful, thank you. You'll have to wait in the lobby afterward, though. Patient privacy, Of course. The nurse guides us to her office in the back. Small room stocked with bandages and some basic first aid tools. It's well equipped, almost overly so for what appears to be an area for small injuries. I help Jean up onto the patient table. The nurse props up her leg in order to keep it elevated. Would you mind waiting here for a bit? I need to fetch something from the supply cupboard. The nurse steps out, leaving the two of us in the room. All good up there? I'm fine. I just hope it's not a sprain. Mind if I take a look? Sure. I take a closer look at her ankle. No swelling yet. If it were a sprain, her ankle would definitely be puffed up and red right now. I don't know if it's sprained. Does it still hurt? Jean nods. Then it's probably just the pain from rolling your ankle so suddenly. You sure know a lot about ankles, Erik. Are you studying to be a doctor or a physical therapist? No, nothing like that. My family and I do a lot of hiking, and when I was younger, I twisted my ankle on a rough patch of the trail we were on. Coincidentally, it was on the same leg that's been giving me troubles as of late. Did it hurt? Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was on crutches for a few weeks so it could heal properly, but I learned a lot about how important my ankles were, that's for sure. But you should definitely be alright. That's good to hear. Just then, the nurse re-enters the room. Okay, I'm back. Everything good here? The two of us nod, which seems to satisfy her. I guess this is my cue to leave. See you in a bit, Jean. Okay, see you soon. She won't be long. Please, take a seat outside. The lobby seems to be pretty new in comparison to the rest of the building. There's a secretary clacking away on a computer nearby. Some social media site is up. I guess there isn't much to do here aside from students and staff visiting. A slight rumble in my stomach reminds me that taking most of my time at breakfast helping Natalia meant that I didn't have much time to actually eat anything. Thankfully, there's a water cooler right next to me. I take a pepper cup and wash the sour taste in my mouth. Right next to the cooler is a small dish with some wrapped chocolates in it. It's not exactly breakfast, but it's something to eat. I take a few to nibble on while I wait. My head feels like it is being crushed by a Sasquatch. I don't know why I said that. Why did I say that? Okay. Soon after, Jean returns, minus the blood on her face. The worried, embarrassed look she had is also gone, replaced with a gentle, friendly smile. The nurse turns to me. She's got a cold compress on her ankle, but she should take it easy for a while longer. Okay. Jean still has a slight limp to her step, but she looks much better after getting cleaned up. Her eyes, which were sullen and a bit red a few minutes ago, look to be a lot brighter now that she's cheered up a bit. Feeling better? Yeah, thanks for helping me get to the nurse. Like I said, it's no big deal. You were right, It was just sore from the rolling. She said that? Wait, what? Oh, okay. Jean nods, referring to the nurse. According to her, it would have been swollen much sooner. Ah, that was right. Bingo. That's a relief then. Trust me, you do not want a sprained ankle during school. Right, I'll have to be careful. Want some chocolate? I got a few extras from the front desk. I pull out a small piece of chocolate that I swiped from the secretary's bowl. Jean's eyes light up. Thanks! In one smooth motion, she unwraps and pops the sweet into her mouth. So, what do you think of our substitute teacher? Oh, well, she's my floor's dorm mum. Dorm mum? Oh, I've never been in a dorm, so I don't know what that is. So I already know her through there. She's really nice to all of us at the dorm, so it's nice to see her helping out at school, too. Sounds like we'll be fine in gym, then. You bet. I lead Jean back over to Hertha, who jogs up to greet us. Ah, you guys are back. How's everything? Well, the nurse says I just rolled my ankle badly. It's not a sprain, thank goodness. That's good to hear. Just sit out for the rest of the class, okay? Okay, sure. I go to walk her to the bleachers. And you, young man, don't have a sprained ankle last time I checked. And you, young man, don't have a sprained ankle last I checked. Well, shoot. Get some laps in, all right? Jean will be fine. Yes, ma'am. Well, don't be so formal. You're making me sound old. I nod as I head back to the track as the two girls take a seat and start talking. After finishing up, Hertha meets me before I head to the locker room. Hey, thanks for your help today, Erik. It's good of you to help out other students here. No problem, just doing the right thing. Jean certainly appreciates it. Really? She's not one to mince words. She told me she's really grateful to you for carrying her to the nurse's office. Liquor store closes in 3 hours. Cool. I recall her face when she thanked me back in the hallway. It was warm, cheerful, and charming. I could tell Jean was the type of girl to be a little more grateful than usual over things like this. I hope you two continue to get along. It'll be nice to have two great students leading everybody in class. I think we'll be good. Jean seems nice. We'll see you around, Erik. By the way, that's not like part of the bipolar thing. I just do that to, you know, well, it's almost like a nervous tick myself. Maybe I have Tourette's. Yeah. But I just make like weird vocalizations or facial expressions if, you know, usually if I'm like tripping up reading something or, you know, stumbling over my words just because, you know, feel embarrassed, so I try to cope with that as best I can by just, you know, being silly. As she leaves, I can't help but feel a surge of pride after helping out Jean. This will help keep me going for the rest of the day. Awesome. What's interesting about that is that she's the first person who actually gave us like a solid answer on why you know, like what her issue was. Interesting that they were not that explicit with any of the other characters. I guess that's kind of why she hasn't really made a very strong impression on me. I don't know. For some reason, I just enjoy the really, you know, wacky dialogue that, you know, you get with people like Fran and, you know, Lena and Irene and people like that. For some reason, it's just a little bit more refreshing. Hours later, I'm holed up in my dorm room, buried in physics equations. It's amazing how fast this stuff piles up. 2 nights ago, I was wondering how I would ever pass the time. Here's my answer, I guess. I scratch the last answer down on the bottom of the notebook page and sit back in the chair. 45? It's wrong. It's definitely wrong. But it's also the last problem of the night, and I can't convince myself to work the numbers again. I close the notebook with a satisfying thump. If there's no decimal place, it's probably wrong. Happy enough to be done with the work, compromise or no. Coasting through material like this probably shouldn't be so easy, but being the new kid surely gives me some leeway. Surely. Class the next day is rather uneventful. Most periods are taken up by lecture time, except for a small class discussion in philosophy. I'm awake through all of them, at least. I slept better last night, still woke up early, and didn't watch the sunrise with any pretty girls, but I still think it's an improvement. At the very least, let's call it an even trade. And the last equation, don't be afraid to give the wrong answer. I expect it gave you all some trouble. Miss Claes's question nudges me back into the present. I've been absent-mindedly ticking off the problems as we go, and even if I got them right, I wasn't listening closely enough to know why I got them right. No one's jumping to answer this last question, though. Anyone? The silence is killing me. I raise my hand. I got 45. 45 newtons. That's correct. Did anyone else find the same answer? Only a couple other hands go up. One of them belongs to Ella, who glances in my direction with a proud smile. Class breaks for lunch, a small crowd forming around the door as my fellow students rush for the exit. I take my time packing my bag, not wanting to shove my way through, before a voice pulls my attention from the door. I see you're adjusting well. Ella bounds over, having only just finished stowing her own books. standing in my peripheral vision with hands neatly clasped behind her back. Thanks, it's been going better than I thought it would. I'm glad to hear it, and to see you answering tough questions like that shows great initiative in your studies. Does it? It was more of a guess than anything. An educated guess. Don't sell yourself short. She punctuates the word with a little flourish, far prouder of my accomplishments than I am. That's a really cool hat. Where can I get a cool hat? Does everybody else wear cool hats? No, they don't. Where do you get a cool hat? Why do you wear a cool hat? Are you, like, special? I want a cool hat. Cool hat. Sorry, I'm just trying to be humble. That way, when I suck, no one will be surprised. This guy gets it. Ella's good cheer seems to sour a little, but she falls into step with me as I zip my bag regardless. Besides, you raised your hand, didn't you? I don't see you bragging. Yes, but I've been in this class since the start of the semester. It's not unusual for transfer students to come here with a few holes in their studies. That's not to say they aren't intelligent, but every school has a different curriculum, after all, so I'm always a little worried. That makes two of us. We follow our classmates as they file into the hallway, joining the river of students on their way to lunch. For all its concessions and planning, the cafeteria is still ordered chaos, and Ella wastes no time scouting out a location for us. I can't help but feel out of place watching the other students all file to their routine seats while I stand to the side, awkwardly holding a tray of sandwiches. Sandwiches might be the only constant in my life right now. Fortunately, Ella waves me over from a table, sitting alone at a comfortable distance from all the established clues. Like, seriously, I literally remember nothing about this. I don't remember talking to Ella at all. So I must have been shit-faced, even though I'm not drunk right now. This is just me being incompetent. Her lunch is a picturesque assortment of items, and I can't shake the feeling that she's chosen it specifically to meet, but not exceed, all her nutritional needs. Of course. I try not to think about what my selection says about me as I sit across from Ella. Thanks, I was just going to eat alone. I'm not sure who I would be sitting with yet. Don't want to impose, you know. Miss Caius's advice on social pressure seemed a little too direct to be dismissed out of hand. Of course, it's definitely good to give people space, but you're a new student. Most of us are more than happy to get to know you. I'm sure you'll fit right in. I mean, you know, if this is like a, you know, like a psych ward, which, you know, I've been into two in the past, then, you know, it's probably just, most of the people are just going to be, you know, as normal as anybody else. They're just going to have, you know, certain issues that they're working through. I mean, the vast majority of people I've met in psych wards were addicts, you know, either drug addicts or alcoholics. But yeah, there were some people that had heavier stuff. People with borderline personality, a couple people with schizophrenia. I think at least one person had bipolar as well. A lot of people with depression. But yeah, anyway. With your uniform on, sometimes I forget you've only just gotten here. She points at the jacket, which reminds me just how weird I feel in this outfit. Well, you know, I thought it would be best if I started dressing like the locals. Ella lets out a polite laugh and leans over to straighten out my collar. It looks good on you, really. That compliment is a little too sincere for me, but I managed to mumble a thanks. To her credit, Ella is quick to change the subject. Dude, you got a crush? So, what do you think of our teachers? Well, Miss Cais isn't too bad. Hertha seems nice. And, Mr. Kohler? I guess he's okay. Every second I fumble around looking for names, the smile on Ella's face gets wider. Okay, I get it. Too early for that question. You'll get a better feel for them after a few days. A lot of people aren't too fond of Miss Cais, I'll admit. I think it's because she's kind of strict about the rules. Just be sure not to get on her bad side and you'll be fine. Like Fred? Don't get on her bad side. Seems more like the kind of general advice that would apply to just about anyone, though. Got it. She nods, turning to her lunch again. Made any friends yet? Halford? Yeah, hell yeah! Oh, come on, that's unfair. Fran comes to mind first. There's a terrifying thought. What the fuck are you talking about? Fran's awesome. There's also Natalia, and Katja seems pleasant. Katja's awesome, as well. Dude, there's so many good characters in this game. I might even consider Jean a friend, although right now our only shared experience involves a nosebleed. What's on your mind? How are you holding up? Come on, you must have a ton more questions. Hit me. But here's the thing, though. Do I select choices that I would naturally go with, which I've done so far, or do I try to game the system into giving me Lena's route? Because Lena seems to be a little bit more, you know, asocial than a lot of people. So maybe I should... Here's a thought. put me back into my high school self, way back when. I was way more introverted and asocial. Probably wouldn't be worried I might fall behind. I was actually pretty damn good in high school. Probably wouldn't want to join a club back then. I mean, these days I'm a lot more, sociable, but back then, oh no. I'm fine. The exaggerated disappointment on her face makes me feel like I've kicked a puppy. Oh, come on, Eric. I'm fine is the most worrying thing you can say around here. That is true. That is very true. I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. Am I not allowed to be fine? No, I mean, it's just, people usually say that when they're not fine. I'm just saying my problems aren't something anyone should worry about. They're tiny, stupid problems. No one has tiny, stupid problems. Fact. Okay, fine, but they still aren't something you should worry about. Ella breaks eye contact, putting her hands up in a gesture of surrender, turning back to her food, and I relax a little. I wasn't even aware I was tense. This happened last time we talked, didn't it? Ella wants to help me, I know, everyone does. What would help me the most right now is having a normal, friendly conversation for once. Sorry, that probably came out wrong. I'm just saying, I know, I'm probably pushing too hard. Dr. Faber said the same thing. I tend to get ahead of myself a lot, and it makes people defensive. You don't have to talk about anything if you don't want to. And now I have to. Again, I love how self-aware he is. I just don't have anything to talk about. I'm really not that interesting, and I barely know anyone's names yet. Well, that's normal for a transfer student, isn't it? I suppose you're right. Just take things at your own pace, and you'll know plenty of people before the month is over. Besides, you've already talked to some classmates, right? A few classmates have asked me questions and had snippets of conversations in passing, so I guess that counts as something? Yeah, I suppose. See, that's progress. It's like she said earlier, don't sell yourself short. Alright, I'll take your advice and do things at my pace for now. Sure. Also, thanks for talking to me. It's nice being able to talk to somebody about this. Ella gives me a sympathetic nod. You're welcome. Anything else you need from me? Nah, I think if I have anything else, I'll be sure to ask you about it. Sound good? Perfect. Ella looks down at her watch. Well, sorry to cut this short, but I have to head off now. I'll see you later, Eric. I give her a wave as I bite into my sandwich. I want a sandwich. Soon after, the cafeteria empties out as students start up their afternoon classes. I dutifully take my leave as well, mulling over Ella's advice. My afternoon philosophy class doesn't make for an exhilarating follow-up to lunch. It's difficult to care about the underlying ontology of the world or whatever else I'm still focused on figuring out the school. Or whatever, when I'm still focused on figuring out the school. Yes, that is what he said. What? Cartesian coordinate planes. If only this was a basic life skills or how to fit into at a new school class, it would be a hell of a lot more useful than Descartes' meditations. But now that it's over, though, what do I do with the rest of my day is in my hands. My only obligation is to meet with Dr. Faber, and that leaves me a bunch of unblocked hours. Ooh, can I choose to hang out with Lena? Can I choose to hang out with Lena, or Katja, or Fran? Any of those three would do. More out of deep-seated instinct than anything, I decide to head out on the school grounds. A bit of fresh air is sure to help. There's a gentle breeze when I step outside, and I take in a deep, satisfying breath of it. Somatic disorder aside, at least I'm an outdoors person. That's one conversation Faber and I won't have to have. You should try spending time outside. It's good for your health. Well, I've got some pretty good news for you, Doc. Taking care of myself already. Good job, Eric. Job. I continue meandering aimlessly. As much as I have to limit my pace, I'm left with more time to appreciate the view. Most people are still in their classes, but I can see a few students lounging about. I take note of the more comfortable spots, beneath trees and next to the bushes, for later. Thinking ahead like this is helping me feel more in control of things. That's good. That's very good. Hey, doing better already, dude. Good on you. I'm rooting for you. Down one of the paths, I notice the school chapel. It's framed rather nicely by a set of flower beds and exudes a comforting, protective aura. Katja did mention singing in the chapel. Ooh, are we gonna hang out with Katja again? Awesome! It was a comment almost in passing, but it would be worth stopping by to see if she's there. I've only heard her humming, and even that was impressive. I can only imagine what her full singing voice sounds like. Even if she isn't there, I'll get to admire the chapel itself. Seems like a win-win. It's really quite pretty up close. doesn't get any sort of religious fervor going on in me. I've never had strong feelings there, but the architecture is admirable for its own sake. More than anything, it's imposing. I guess the intent is to humble visitors. For my part, it's doing a decent job of that. And is that the distant sound of singing I hear? I guess I came at the right time to catch Katja. I step up to the entrance, and the voice grows and clarifies. I can't make out most of the details through the muffling wall between us, but even from here I can tell she's good. I guess I'm in for a treat. With my breath half held, I press on the doors and step through. Hallelujah! It's even more impressive from the inside. Cool. It isn't huge like I'd expect from a full-fledged cathedral or a church, but the chapel is clearly designed to evoke awe. The steep windows and high ceiling make me feel small, and even with full attendance, I think the hall would look larger than life. Despite that, Katja's voice is filling the whole space vividly. Oh, she does solos. Awesome. I use the word awesome way too much. The acoustics are disorienting, to be honest. My eyes automatically scan all the walls first, even though I know Katja can't be there. The noise pulls my gaze in every other direction before I finally look to the open space at the front. Yes, that is generally where they would be. Yes. I spot her in front of the altar, dwarfed by the far wall. But far wall! Follow, I can enunciate! She looks so focused, and completely present in the song. I also wouldn't have expected so big a voice coming from her. I'm sure the chapel interior's amplified it, but it's very intense, all the same. If I had to pin a singing voice to Katja, this would not have been it. I would have expected a deeper voice. I guess she's singing in an unfamiliar language, maybe Latin, but it doesn't feel like I'm missing out. Somehow I can tell it's a sad tune all the same. It's obvious just from watching her that she's passionate about singing. Nobody gets this into something without caring about it a lot. She's good enough that even I'm enjoying it, though I've never exactly made a habit of listening to choir music. Have you ever heard the Gregorian chant version of Song of Silence?
It's not the song of silence. Who said I do not know?
It's awesome. I take a seat in one of the middle pews and close my eyes. Leaning back and listening gives me some much-needed rest after my classes. Though the pew isn't the most comfortable, they never are. The song rises and falls, it ebbs and flows, and at some point I stop thinking about it. I don't know how long to expect the song to last, and frankly, I'm not in any rush. It's only another 2 or 3 minutes before Katja's voice rings out the final note, though. I open my eyes and find her looking at me with a hesitant sort of expression. Oh God. Erik, I didn't expect to see you here. I can't tell from her tone whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You mentioned this yesterday. It seemed like the friendly thing to do. Friendly? I see. Stepping up to the plate with your best gentlemanly behavior. I might be able to put the lunchtime incident behind us at last. Since she's resumed teasing me, it's safe to say that I didn't just commit a massive social faux pas. Of course, that was definitely my intention. Consider yourself provisionally forgiven, then. I'm provisionally relieved to hear that. Good on you. Hey, he's already starting to fit in. She giggles, and I feel some pride in my quip. In any case, I'm obliged to ask, what did you think? Of the singing? No, the weather, obviously. Thank you, Katja. I like her. I take a moment to compose an honest answer. I thought it was amazing. Katja's smile widens. That's very kind of you. I hope you know there's no need to exaggerate on my account. Well, you're right, I don't need to exaggerate because you're just that good. Oh, smooth! How long have you been singing? Oh, longer than I can remember. I've always been singing, as far as I know. Whenever it was that I, in fact, started, it's long become part of who I am. I'm not sure I'd be Katja if I didn't sing. I can see that, honestly. It shows in your performance. Well, aren't you the flatterer today? If you wanted to hear another song, you can just ask, you know. She's not wrong. I certainly wouldn't mind hearing more of this in-house music. Well... She interrupts me before I can finish the thought. Unfortunately, that was the last song in my set, and I really shouldn't strain my voice too much. Like any muscle, it's prone to injury. I've been led on... fuck. Of course, that's my loss. Indeed, such a pity. She pauses before her next sentence. I'm glad you decided to come, though. I'm glad you decided to come, though. I don't usually have an audience, and it helps now and again. I'm glad to be of... Oh yeah, right, she was, I guess she was just practicing alone. Fucking tooth is in the way of my tongue, and he's going... I'm glad to be of help. I have my gentleman's reputation to uphold, after all. I think you can only uphold things that actually exist, Erik. Oh, ouch. There goes my gentleman's honor. Same answer. Are you always this polite to your fans? Oh, so you're a fan now, after just one song? What can I say? I have a refined palate and an eye for talent. Not even gonna go there. Then perhaps you should get your vision checked. Wait, what? What? My vision checked? Grinning at me, she slips her phone from her pocket and glances at the display. Oh, would you look at the time? It seems I should be going soon. Another obligation, you know how it is. And I only just got here. Well, you'll just have to pop by again to hear more, I suppose. Nothing to be done about that. I humor her with an exaggerated sigh. Ugh, fucking churches. Nothing at all, no. I'll find some time in my busy schedule to visit again. I'm sure you'll manage. How have you been holding up in general, though? Katja's sudden change in tone throws me off. I didn't have a change in tone because I suck as a voice actor. Huh? How have you been doing since the last time we spoke? Adjusting all right? Yeah, I think so. I don't really know what to tell her or what an acceptable response is. She considers me for a moment and nods. Still too soon for a confident answer, I understand. There's no rush to get used to things, you know. Well, no, but you still like it to happen sooner rather than later. Yeah. Editing. If this visit is anything to go by, you've been taking a great deal of initiative. I've been trying, yeah. The worst thing anyone can do in your position is to hole up in their room all day. You're well ahead of the curve for your third day here. Exactly, that's what I'm saying, you know? I'll keep it up then. Katja flashes a bright smile. Lovely. She turns to gather her belongings from the corner of the pews. Slinging her blag over her shoulder, she looks at me again. I did mean it, by the way. Mean what? I appreciate you coming, especially since I never asked you to. It is a kind gesture. That's nothing really. It was my pleasure. It might feel like nothing to you, but you'll find in time that not everyone is so forthcoming as you appear to be. So I'm grateful, even if it's for nothing. That's an unhelpfully ambiguous sentence. A bit of life advice or just an offhand comment? She's Katja. I think there's more depth to her words than you realize. Ah, I see. You're welcome. Ready to go, she gives me one last smile. I look forward to seeing you around more. Let me know if you need help with anything. I try to make people feel welcome. Thanks, I'll see you later. Hi, I'm going insane due to the quarantine. So that was Missing Stars Part 4. We spent a little bit more time with Jean. We don't know too much about her, so by this point I'm not too intrigued with her. There's not a lot of, like, ooh, mystery, or there wasn't a lot of funny dialogue with her, so, she's not quite as endearing as the other characters. But we got to spend time with Katja and Elise, whatever her name is. Chick with the beret. This is me filming, like, literally months after I recorded this video, so I can't even, I mean, I just edited it, so why can't I remember? Fucking who cares? We have like 2 more parts, I think, before we get to a proper route. And then things start picking up. So, the pre-route is a little bit dry, but, it's introducing the characters. Once you actually, like, build a rapport with the characters, things start picking up a little bit, and things start getting really good. So, check back! I still have to work from home, so, but not really off the hook yet.